And to kick us off, opening remarks by our presenting sponsors, the Coca-Cola Company.
Good evening, everyone. I bring you greetings from my colleagues at the Coca-Cola Company. We are also very proud to be the presenting sponsor of United Spinal's Strong Willed Together 2022 celebration. My name is Cameron Mattingly, and I'm honored to manage the relationship between the Coca-Cola Company and United Spinal. The Coca-Cola family feels strongly about building a more inclusive world for all of us, and we're proud to stand with United Spinal. Congratulations to everyone being celebrated this evening, and I hope it's a wonderful night.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Hilary Muelberger, and I want to welcome you to United Spinal Association's Strong Willed Together Member Awards Gala. Our Strong Willed Together campaign is a tribute to the collective power of United Spinal's members and grassroots advocacy leaders. Together, we are building a better future for people with spinal cord injuries and all wheelchair users while honoring our past. Tonight, we'll chat with Judy Heumann, who is known as the Mother of Disability Rights. We'll also hear from Jim Langevin, the first quadriplegic U.S. representative, and we'll enjoy performances by Kebra Moore, Marna Michele, and Four Wheel City. But tonight's true stars are the wheelchair users chosen by you to receive the first ever Strong Willed Together Awards. Now, here to tell you more about tonight's entertainment lineup and the awards is our President and CEO, Vincenzo Piscopo.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome you to the first ever United Spinal Association Strong Willed Together Awards Gala. We created our Strong Willed Award to raise awareness of the gift and talents of our own communities, artists, athletes, innovators, and leaders. It is our powerful way to support their impactful work. And it demonstrates that we are strong-willed together in our greater fight for recognition, equality, justice, and inclusion. We have planned a wonderful evening of celebration for you. In addition to meeting our award winners, we are excited to present performances by musicians from our own disability community. First up is a fun and celebratory performance by the talented hip-hop duo Four Wheel City. These two United Spinal members perform with famous rap stars like Snoop Dogg, and yet always take time to speak at schools and provide peer support at places like our own hospital member, Mount Sinai Medical Center. Also, expect to be delighted by the celestial voice of international recording artist Kebra Moore. Her song, He'll Make a Way, was featured on the soundtrack of Becoming Barack Evolution of a Leader. And her video have appeared on Black Entertainment Television, Trinity Broadcasting Network, and other networks. Last, but certainly not least, the fabulous Marna Michele will wow us with her voice. She riveted listeners across the nation as an American Idol contestant in 2020. Many of us remember her being coached by Katy Perry and Luke Bryan to really belt out Lady Gaga's Million Reasons. That audition earned her the coveted golden ticket to Hollywood. It's such an honor to have talent of this caliber performing in our inaugural Strong Willed Together Awards Gala. As we think about inclusion, we know that stigma is an enormous obstacle for all people who have disabilities. We must erase stigma if we are to truly unleash the greatness of our community. Every single one of us must follow the example of our performers and award winners to speak up, speak out, and use every opportunity we can to fight stigmas when we see it. We can do this if we work together. After all, we come from a long line of fighters. So many of our members never backed down, even when the odds were not in our favor. Not when we fought for the first curb cuts all those years ago, or for the Americans with Disabilities Act, or today as we work side by side with corporations to design future technologies that are inclusive to everyone. Together, we are the leaders in the fight to end stigmas once and for all. United Spinal's course is set by our visionary board of directors, which in turn is led by our own committed chair, Tom Aiello. Tom, thank you for all you do to lead this amazing group of volunteers that guide our work every day. I want to especially thank our sponsors. We simply could not do what we do without their support. They make it possible to tackle stubborn problems like unemployment, inaccessibility, and other barriers to full inclusion. Their partnership allows this virtual event to be free experience for all members of our disability community. Tonight, we celebrate our strong-willed community and our shared commitment to empowering wheelchair users and all people with disabilities. Everyone deserves the highest quality of life possible, and that includes you. Hilary, over to you, my friend.
Thank you for sharing your vision for our community and our future, Enzo. We put out a call for nominations of wheelchair users doing great things. The result was a talented, diverse, accomplished pool of nominees. Our judges selected 3 finalists in each of our 5 categories, and these finalists presented a 3-minute video showing why they should win. Then our community members voted for the final awardees. Those categories are sports and recreation, visual arts, entrepreneurship and innovation, youth leadership, and performing arts. We are proud of the quality of the entire pool of nominees and are excited to share the winners. Our first award tonight is for sports and recreation. It will be presented by Joe Delagrave, who is no stranger to winning competitions. He's the head coach for the U.S. Paralympic rugby team, a former Team USA captain, a wheelchair rugby world champion, and a 2-time Paralympic medalist. It's safe to say he knows a little something about sports and recreation. We're thrilled to have him present the Strong Wheeled Together Award for this category. Please welcome Joe Delagrave.
Hello and good evening. As a coach, I know the power of sports and recreation. The power it has to excite, the power it has to motivate, and the power it has to heal. For many people with disabilities, sports and recreation are sometimes the missing piece to their emotional and psychological recovery after injury. Sports and recreation can uniquely be a part of the healing and restorative process for people with disabilities. First, it can help restore neurocognitive function. Second, it can push individuals to think beyond their own body and injury through games, exercise, and engagement with other people with disabilities. Third, these tactics can lead to a reconciliation with one's own body and prepare individuals for their new normal. When someone becomes a member of this community, it is often through injury. As a part of the healing process, one must find new tactics that allow for self-discovery and the impetus to begin life anew. Through sports and recreation, individuals with disabilities can learn that they can become an artist, an athlete, a dancer, or whatever helps them unleash their passion and talent. This renewed sense of purpose can sometimes be the biggest boost to one's own mental health after injury, which in turn allows for bodies to be healthy in a holistic way. Equality for people with disabilities must always be top of mind, including in sports and recreation, as they can open up possibilities that were once thought impossible. This award celebrates athletes and creators who are now role models for future generations, as they know people with disabilities deserve a place at every table, including sports and recreation. We celebrate these athletes who are becoming role models for future generations, and most importantly, show why our communities deserve an equal place in sports and all recreational activities. The nominees are Antonio Martin. Antonio is an American record holder in para-powerlifting. He is also the force behind Bros to Pros, which has developed underprivileged youth and pro-caliber football players. Darlene Hunter. Darlene is a former Team USA co-captain in wheelchair basketball, two-time Paralympics medalist, and current coach. She holds a doctorate in family studies with a master's in public health and social work. And last but certainly not least, Tom Noss. Tom works as an occupational therapist at Ability KC, was an inaugural member on the KC Revolution wheelchair rugby team, and is a member of the Midwest Adaptive Sports Board of Directors. And the award goes to
Antonio Martin, winner of the Sports and Recreation Strong Wheels Together Award. Congratulations.
I would like to thank the United Spinal Association for this award. This award means so much to me because this is the first award that I have achieved since being paralyzed. Also, this award will help me with getting to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games to stay on the pathway. And also for my community, I would like to say being a Paralympian is very hard work, but it's definitely worth it. Like I said, man, if you aim for the moon, if you aim for the stars, you will land on the moon. So yeah, just keep fighting, never give up, never quit.
Congratulations, Anthony. Our first performance is by Four Wheel City, a hip-hop duo featuring United Spinal members Namel Norris and Ricardo Velasquez. The group fights stigma by using hip-hop music and culture to create more opportunities for our community and to show the world that we have talents and dreams and deserve to be treated equally. They performed at the 2012 Paralympics in London and the White House in 2016 and represented our disability culture this past April at the 64th Annual Grammy Awards. And now they're here to rap for you. Please welcome our very own Four Wheel City.
Yo, check it out, you know what it is. It's your boys from the movement, Four Wheel City. When I say four, y'all say wheels. 4 wheels, 4 wheels. When I say 4 wheel, y'all say city. 4 wheels, city. 4 wheels, city. Yeah, shout out to United Spinal Association, Strong Wheel Together, Gala. We about to do this movement for you, baby. Let's do it.
Tired, man. Get this car to start. Yeah. 4 Wheel City. All right, let's roll. Let's go. Drop that, poppers over us. They watching. They don't want us to be a part of their city, man. They pull all these steps, man. All these curves you can't get over good, though. All these inaccessible stores. 4 Wheel City. They don't want us here. Survive. What we gonna do? We gonna make our own place. Welcome to 4 Wheel City. I like to say, rest in peace to Christopher Reeves. But I got something on my chest that's been bothering me. What's the problem be? When I'm out in the streets, it's like I can't go nowhere. What's wrong with me? How come when I go to the store, I gotta call first to see if this wheelchair accessible? How come they treat me like a vegetable? Like I ain't here, but I'm here. And I could say I don't care, but the truth is I can't walk up the stairs. So I need a ramp and the elevator too. And while you at it, bring a accessible bathroom. Man, when you want the same thing, if it happened to you, hey, welcome to 4 Wheel City. Where you from? 4 Wheel City. Yeah. Glad to have y'all. 4 Wheel City. It's the movement to come forth movement. Welcome to 4 Wheel City. Where you let you roll it like we 4 Wheel City. Yeah. We making it like we make 4 Wheel City. Survive, man. Survive. Now here's a little something that be popping my nerves. I hate when daywalkers be blocking the curb with their cars like they stars. I watch and observe, like excuse me sir, can I cross the street? Can't you see I'm in the chair? Cause I can't move my feet. Why you blocking the curb? Why I can't get by? It's because you standing up and I'm paralyzed. Am I less than you? Are you more than me? If I didn't speak up, would you had noticed me? And George Bush don't want to fund stem cell research. We see what happens when his back and his feet hurt. This is a deep verse, and that discrimination just played out. Yeah, we got limitations, but don't count us out. And if you feeling what I'm saying, let me hear you shout. Let me 4 Wheel City. 4 Wheel City. It's a way out, baby. Welcome to 4 Wheel City. Where you are. 4 Wheel City. We come. 4 Wheel City. It's the movement. For improvement. That's what it is, baby. 4 Wheel City. We about to change all 4 Wheel City. We come. 4 Wheel City. I want this disability. A little respect and be treated equally. If you feel like I feel, repeat after me. Buildings with no elevators, that ain't right. Stores with no ramps in them, that ain't right. Apartments with the doors too small, that ain't right. Bathrooms with no accessible stores, that ain't right. Buses with no lifts in them, that ain't right. Curves with no cutouts, man, that ain't right. Health insurance cutbacks, that ain't right. Stem cell research band, that ain't right. That ain't welcome to 4-Wheel City, where you came a long way. 4-Wheel City, here we come. 4-Wheel we here now. It's the movement for improvement. Everything about the change. 4-Wheel City, change of God, man. From 4-Wheel City, here we come. Never look at somebody to cheer again. For improvement. Welcome to 4-Wheel City, where you from. Gotta love 4-Wheel City, here we come. Even if you hate 4-Wheel City, cause it's the movement for improvement. Yeah, that's right. Smile, you heard it right. We ain't taking it no more, man. We ain't taking, we fleeing the city.
Aren't they amazing? Our presenter for the Visual Arts and Writing Award is Catherine Beatty, the first woman wheelchair user in the world ever to successfully backflip in a wheelchair on purpose. When she's not shredding in a skate park, she's a producer and screenwriter for some pretty big shows. You may have seen her work on NCIS New Orleans and Californication. She uses her platform to expand disability hiring and inclusion in entertainment, and is now here to present the winner of the Visual Arts and Writing Award. Please welcome Catherine Beatty.
Good evening. I'm not partial when it comes to visual arts. As a co-executive producer on NCIS, I know the immense power that visual arts and writing have in allowing communities to express themselves in different ways. This form of expression often serves as a catharsis for individuals with disabilities. I can think of no better embodiment of the phrase "words matter" than creators with disabilities in the visual arts and writing space today. Words can channel fear, anger, hope, confusion, reconciliation, healing, joy, and so much more. But words can also serve as roadblocks to disabled people when accessibility is not factored into creative decisions. When disabled people engage deeply in writing and the visual arts, we create authentic, accessible, meaningful stories that translate on paper into the screen. Stories that can be enjoyed by all. But stories aren't always for the viewer or audience. Many times, artists use self-expression to channel their own hopes, dreams, and fears. When we encourage self-expression within the disability community, we collectively become stronger, wiser, more informed, and better positioned to serve as advocates and allies for disability inclusion. We know that despite the passage of the ADA, disability rights have not yet been achieved, and deep feelings of violation around those rights still exist today. That is why we need writers with disabilities to claim their rightful place, to own their talents, and to fight for the representation they deserve in all visual arts. Tonight's nominees are doing just that. The nominees are Tyree Brown. Tyree is a DC area artist who, along with making incredible portraiture, is also a passionate disability advocate. Wes Holloway. Wes is an interdisciplinary artist and instructor at the Corcoran School of Arts and Design, who has been featured in solo and group exhibitions across the country and in the UK. Yesenia Torres. Yesenia is an award-winning advocate leader, filmmaker, and writer based in New York City. And the award goes to
Yesenia Torres, winner of the Visual Arts and Writing Strong Wheels Together Award. Congratulations.
I would love to thank United Spinal Association for this Strong Wheeled Award. This is gorgeous. Oh my God, I am so happy. It is a blessing for my community to have the opportunity to participate in this award that empowers us to reach our goals. With this help, with this award, as a book author, I'm going to continue writing my trilogy series named Against the Horizon and publish it for all of you to read. With this book, I hope to grow motivate, and empower people to live a fulfilling life. No matter what obstacles life throws your way, remember, your only limitations are in your mind. Thank you.
Way to go, Yesenia. Much deserved. Advocacy is at the heart of who we are at United Spinal. Every year, our flagship event, Roll on Capitol Hill, calls hundreds of wheelchair users to Washington, D.C. to speak directly with their legislators. At this year's Roll, we recognize Congressman Langevin with our Lifetime Achievement Award for all he has done for our community. Not every policymaker is sympathetic to our cause, and it's not often we can speak for ourselves from the floor of Congress. That's part of what makes U.S. Representative Jim Langevin, the first quadriplegic to serve in Congress, so valuable. He was first elected to represent Rhode Island in 2001 and plans to retire this year after a successful career of service to our nation. Congressman Langevin defended our interests through some of the toughest legislative battles of the last 2 decades, including passing the Affordable Care Act, the ADA Amendments Act, and fighting for improved caregiving. On a night dedicated to celebrating our community's trailblazers, I am especially honored to introduce Congressman Langevin. He is a living testament to the change people with disabilities can make when we represent ourselves. Thank you, Congressman Langevin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Congressman Jim Langevin, and for 22 years, I've had the honor and privilege of representing Rhode Island's 2nd Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. I'd like to start by thanking United Spinal for inviting me to participate in today's event to recognize a new generation of leaders in the disability community. This is so important, as we need strong leaders to help advance the fight for a better world for all people with disabilities. Now, as many of you know, back in 2000, I became the first and only quadriplegic ever elected to the Congress. Though, as I like to say, I know I won't be the last. Now, since the start of my career in Washington, disability issues have remained among my top priorities. For example, during my first term, I founded the Bipartisan Disability Caucus to help educate members of Congress and their staff about important issues affecting people with disabilities. This caucus has endured, and it now has more than 50 members on both sides of the aisle who are eager to learn about and advocate for disability rights. Today, we're here for United Spinal's Strong Wheeled Together Awards, which celebrate rising stars in the community of people living with spinal cord injuries and disorders. These awards are a living testament to how the disability community supports its own, and an innovative example of how we can help lift up each other together. United Spinal is honoring exceptional individuals who have a demonstrated record of achievements and the potential for lifelong success in their professional and volunteer pursuits. In honoring these up-and-coming leaders, United Spinal is raising awareness among the general public of the impact of people with disabilities on not only the disability community, but on society as a whole. Through the power of social media and the reach of our community, the Strong Wheeled Together Awards are also a platform for these outstanding individuals to make their work known to a wider audience and to inspire a new generation of leaders. With that, I'd like to sincerely congratulate all of tonight's winners. Now, before I wrap up, I should acknowledge the fact that I'm set to retire from Congress at the end of this term after 22 years. However, I want to assure you that I'm not leaving the fight for disability rights. As long as there's more to be done, I will be there at your side, and you should never hesitate to call on me. So once again, congratulations to all of tonight's winners. Good luck, and I look forward to working with you going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Here to present the award for Entrepreneurship and Innovation is United Spinal board member Pete Denman. He's also a member of our Tech Access Group, which advises big tech companies on how to make their products usable by everyone. His daytime gig is as a user experience designer and researcher for Intel, where he worked on the software that Stephen Hawking used to communicate. That software is now open source and available to our entire community. I can't think of anyone better who reflects the community spirit we want to award. Please welcome Pete Denman.
Hello, and thanks for having me with you tonight. As someone who works in the tech industry, I can tell you that it's an ever-changing, updating, and adapting to the needs of individuals from around the world. However, as we know all too well, People with disabilities are being left behind in this sector, as product developers don't always ensure that these products and their businesses are accessible to our community. If we aren't diligent, the advances in technology will leave our community out, creating further disparities and inequities for people with disabilities. This award for entrepreneurship and innovation is being presented to creative, persistent individuals who aren't waiting around for change. They know that this is a world that wasn't made for people with disabilities and that we must be the ones to change that. In short, these people are making the changes happen. After all, equality, equity, justice are not guaranteed. As generations of disability leaders have taught us, it must be fought for. These leaders know that our community is above all else resilient. They also know that this resilience must be carried over to the creation of the tools and resources that make this world a better place for all persons with disabilities. United Spinal is proud to present Strong Wheeled Together Award in Entrepreneurship and Innovation to game changers who are literally developing a better world for themselves and our community. And the nominees for this award are Alicia Anderson. Alicia is a California-based DEI accessibility motivational speaker and corporate inclusion officer following a high-flying career in the corporate world. Brandon Whitfield is a whiz-kid developer behind the iAccess Life app and activist for transit equality based out of Metro Atlanta. And Erik Kondo is a Boston area real estate professional consultant who is a pioneer in wheelchair boarding with a general passion for mobility products and advocating for low-cost adaptable gear. And the award goes to
Erik Kondo, winner of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Strong Wheeled Together Award. Congratulations.
I'm honored to receive the Strong Wheeled Together Award from United Spinal. This award will provide me the opportunity to advance two areas that I'm passionate about. One is encouraging the development of practical and affordable assistive technology for wheelchair users. The second is the promotion of micro-businesses owned and operated by people with spinal cord injury and disease. I think that bringing interest and funding into these two areas will be hugely beneficial for the spinal cord injury community as a whole. Thank you, United Spinal, for making this a reality.
Congratulations, Erik. Now we are in for a treat. Our next performance is by the amazing Kebra Moore. Her voice is so strong and clear, which makes sense since she's a trained opera singer and an internationally recognized gospel singer. She's such a force for good in our world and uses her song lyrics to build us up. Her accomplishments don't stop there. She was Miss Wheelchair Mississippi in 2013, and she's an Amazon best-selling author. You may recognize her as Midnight Storm online. As if all that isn't enough, she's also an entrepreneur who developed the socially conscious Tropic Storm collection of vegan and cruelty-free cosmetics. But tonight, she's here to sing for us. Please welcome the wonderful Kebra Moore.
I need everybody that's listening virtually tonight to go ahead and give it and just clap your hands. There you go.
Thank you, Kebra. That was amazing. Presenting the Youth Leadership Award tonight is United Spinal board member and Rutgers University professor Javier Robles. Among other things, Javier also directs Rutgers Center for Disability Sports, Health, and Wellness and chaired New Jersey's COVID response for the disability community. He has dedicated his life to fighting for the rights, education, and empowerment of all people with disabilities, but he's especially passionate about empowering young people. To honor the recipient of our Youth Leadership Award, please welcome Javier Robles.
Good evening. It's great to be with you as we honor youth leadership. Leadership that will take us into the future and will ultimately achieve true equality for all persons with disabilities. As we stay on this path, we know that the journey for disability inclusion and equity is long. There are also various paths and ways to achieve these goals, especially with innovative youth leadership that harnesses the resources and tools around them to amplify their efforts. This award, honoring our young leaders, is the first of many that these youth will receive. They will fight to ensure that we live up to the promise and the hopes of the Americans with Disabilities Act and all that has been achieved since its passing. Our youth know that the job is not done, that we can't let up, and that it will take much more time to reach full inclusion and equality. United Spinal is pleased to present this inaugural award in youth leadership to young adults who have taken their leadership skills and turned them into action that inches us towards a more equitable and just society. Tonight's nominees for this award are Anna Sarol. Anna is a wheelchair model, motivational speaker, social media prodigy, and advocate from the Kansas City area. Hayden Smith. Hayden is a social justice activist at his middle school in Wisconsin for causes like Black Lives Matter and transit equality for he and his fellow pupils. He is also an accomplished adaptive athlete. Lillian Elmore. Lillian was crowned National Miss Amazing Teen Queen in 2021, is a public speaker on disability issues and the founder of a support group for teen girls with disabilities known as Joyable. And the award goes to
Anna Sarol, winner of the Youth Leadership Strong Wheeled Together Award. Congratulations.
First, a huge thank you to my friends and family for getting me here and for the endless support. For me, this award means that the hours of time and effort and care I have put into each individual content hasn't gone unnoticed. It is a reminder that the work I'm doing in the online world is not only making a positive impact, but a long-lasting one. I am a huge advocate for prioritizing shoulder health as a wheelchair user, and a common concern I hear in the community revolves around chronic pain that we often experience, especially after a long day. I love to help others alleviate this trouble, and as a part of my plan, I will allocate the money to purchase muscle therapy guns for other wheelchair users to have access to whenever their bodies need it. And United Spinal Association is allowing me to make this happen. So thank you to this incredible team.
Congratulations, Anna. Tonight, we are honored to present Judy Heumann with our Lifetime Impact Award. Doing the honors tonight is United Spinal's very own board member, Josh Basile. He is a tireless consumer advocate and nonprofit leader. He's also a fearless employment rights activist, taking on Medicaid and making history in Maryland. Over to you, Josh.
When I think about Judy Heumann, the first thing that comes to mind is badass. She is even stored in my phone as Judy, Badass Advocate. Simply put, a lifetime of action and a consistent pursuit of justice is what Judy is all about. Judy was born in 1947 and at the age of 18 months contracted polio. Starting at a very young age, her journey with paralysis was riddled with inclusion and accessibility barriers. In the 1950s, her local public school would not allow her to attend and called her a fire hazard for being unable to walk. Challenging this bad policy reversed this decision and was the start of a lifetime of impact. Judy, alongside her parents and thousands of other advocates, chose to face adversity with enough is enough, and this can and must change. In the 1970s, the U.S. Secretary of Health, Education and Welfare refused to sign the Section 504 regulations that Congress passed to create the first U.S. federal civil rights protection for people with disabilities. Judy's advocacy skills and leadership led to demonstrations across the country and the longest sit-in ever at federal buildings at 28 days. Section 504 was soon issued. Over 70 years, Judy has organized and participated in numerous rallies, protests, and sit-ins, demanding access, equality, and real change, which in turn reshaped the world for people with disabilities and helped to build a sturdier foundation for the next generation of disability civil rights advocates to follow. Judy helped to pave the way for United Spinal members to continue in her wheelchairs because there's still so much that needs to be done. Judy once said, "Change never happens at the pace we think it should. It happens over the years of people joining together, strategizing, sharing, and pulling all of the levers they possibly can. Gradually, excruciatingly slow, things start to happen, and then suddenly, seeming out of the blue, something will tip." Without further ado, I'm honored to present the United Spinal Lifetime Impact Award to Judy Heumann.
Judy, you have no idea how excited I am to be talking to you today and present to you the Lifetime United Spinal Impact Award. And it's perfect timing because today we are also celebrating the impact of our community, the talent of our community. And I think we wouldn't be able to celebrate that if we weren't for the work that you and other advocates started. And even myself, when I see myself and all the success I've had, if I trace it back, it goes to you and the team and the group that with you fought for our rights. And if we could keep on tracing it back, it goes to that moment when your mom was fighting for you to go to elementary school, and everything started there. As a parent, myself, I have 4 kids, I'd love to understand, Judy, what's the impact that your mother had on Judy Heumann and the advocate you are?
So I don't want to exclude my father. He was a butcher with his brother, and he worked a lot of hours. He used to go to work at like 3:30 in the morning, get home at 7 or 8. Wow. But he was very supportive of my mother. I think, my mother, well, together as a couple, they made a decision after I had polio that they wanted me to have the same opportunities as others. And at that time, and still today, not anywhere near as badly, but there were little opportunities for disabled people who used wheelchairs to go to regular schools. But my parents didn't know that. So they were immigrants, were German Jewish, and my mom took me to school when I was 5. And she pushed my wheelchair, was in walking distance, and pulled the wheelchair up the steps. I don't think ever expecting any help from anybody, and went to register me, and then found that the principal wouldn't allow me to register. So my parents had to really learn how to become advocates, because my mom was a housewife. My mother was always a pusher, but in her own way. So she really needed to learn what the system was all about. So she was trying to figure out schools that I could possibly go to. That's another whole story. But at the end of the day, I think my mother realized that if she didn't speak up for me and try to make changes, things weren't going to happen. And then when I finally did start going to classes, not in my neighborhood, in segregated classes, only for disabled kids, she was meeting other parents who were having the same issues. And so I think that's another area of expertise that I gained from my mother, and that was being an advocate, being a networker, bringing voices together. One voice is important, but if there are many other people who are having the same problem, then being able to work on a solution that would benefit many. And that's what I learned from her, and from my friends' parents too.
That's wonderful, Judy. Judy, but one question that I had, what was going through your mind when you were like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and your mother was fighting for all those things? I mean, were you aware of the dimension of what was happening?
I don't really think so at 5 or 6. But as I was getting older, I was the first child. So when my brother was born, he was a year and a half younger than me. So he started to go to kindergarten before I even started going to the special ed classes. So that's also when I was beginning to realize something wasn't right. And my friends were going to school when they were 5. What I was fortunate about was that my parents got me into Brownies, into Hebrew school. So after school was over for the other kids, I was doing things with other kids and family, so that was good. But as I got older, it was very clear that the reason I wasn't going to school was because I had a disability. So although the word discrimination in the 1950s was not really being utilized that much, as the word itself began to become more commonplace, just in general, like with the civil rights movement, then it was a word that, for me, felt right, and for my friends felt right, that we needed to call it something. Because it wasn't just the denial of education, it was no ramps, no curb cuts, buses, trains that weren't accessible. And if it wasn't for parents, there didn't seem to be a lot of people that were really fighting for us. And so I think my parents definitely played a role, continued to play a role throughout my life.
You mentioned New York several times, and by the way, congratulations for being now part of the Disability Rights Hall of Fame of New York. It seems that a lot of things happen in New York. Why do you think that New York was the trigger of many of the disability rights movement or the disability right movement?
Because it's New York. That's the answer. I all the time speak about how if I didn't grow up in New York, I wouldn't be the person I am. Because I think New York, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. New York, New York. I totally agree with that. And it's a big metropolitan area. For me, you know, what was originally called Eastern Paralyzed Veterans Association, which is now United Spinal Network, which is now United Spinal Association. I learned a lot from the guys there. And it was a great opportunity for me and my friends to be able to work with people like Joe Mandela and Terry Moakley and others who were very gracious in allowing us to be a part of their learning. And you know, they were very strong guys. And I think for me, that was also a really good example that I just kind of felt, apart from my mother, that you got to do what you believe in. Maybe you have to balance it depending on what's happening, but hanging back too often. You know, if you watch my TED Talk, you'll see one of the stories I tell in the TED Talk is about the command bus in New York not letting me on. Well, so I encourage people to watch it because there was a real aha moment for me when I was in New York that particular year, because I had been living in California. The bus was coming, it was accessible, people wouldn't move, I didn't get on. Then I kind of was like, wait a minute, the bus is accessible, people have to move. If they don't move, I'm not gonna let the bus move. And that was so empowering. It made me really feel like I'm not gonna let anybody step on me. And lots of incidents like that. So I really feel that New York is a complex place. It's difficult to make change. But when you make the changes that need to be made, it impacts a lot of people. And I think the people who are involved in making the change also feel more empowered because, you know, you've really made an important difference.
Right. It's funny that you're saying that, Judy, because I am, you know, the president and CEO of United Spinal Association. And even now in 2022, we're still fighting for things like that, right? And every time that I do that and I fight and I get like obstacles, I always think, what would Judy do? So thank you for doing that. Yes, absolutely. One last question. What's your favorite food, German or Mexican or American?
I don't have a favorite food.
Oh, come on.
No, I can tell you, I love a lot of different foods. So there's one dish that my mother would make. We don't eat pork, but it's beef and sauerkraut and mashed potatoes.
Well, that sounds good.
It's delicious. And Mexican food, oh my God, I love Mexican food. But, you know, I like food from all countries. I like Asian food. I like spicy food. I like diversity in my people and my food. Nice. I think that's the way to put it. And not too many calories.
Right, right, I know. Don't tell me that. Judy, thank you so much for your time. It was so much fun, and as always, I learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the community. You and the other advocates that with you worked so hard for me to be able to be here. So thank you on behalf of all people with disability in this country.
I really also want to thank you. I want to thank Jim Weissman and the leadership that's brought the organization to where it is today. I think you have some wonderful people around the country who are working on a goal of equality. And that's what this is all about, ensuring that disabled people, regardless of their age, their race, their sexual orientation, on and type of disability, can feel like they can make contributions in this country, including contributing what they're capable of doing as a disabled person.
Absolutely. Judy, thank you so much. Thank you for coming, and looking forward to the next time I see you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Judy. I could imagine no one who deserves our Lifetime Impact Award more than you. Our next performance is by singer-songwriter Marna Michele. As anyone who watched her on American Idol knows, her vocal range is impressive and her voice is lovely. If you're on TikTok, do yourself a favor and follow her at Marna Wheels to be the first to know what she's working on. She wrote Can Hardly Wait for her husband, Robert, and her latest song, Could Have Had, dropped in July. You can find these and all her music on your favorite streaming service. Please welcome our own idol, Marna Michele.
Some time to prove you don't need anyone else, don't have to fight with all that self-doubt you feel inside. It's taking over you now, so just breathe, take off what you want. In your reflection you see what you've already got. You don't need nothing but you. No lace or red bottom shoes. You don't need mirrors when it comes to seeing truth. It's all natural lighting, just sunlight in the morning. It's sexy when you know you need nothing but you. How'd it make you feel when you had to act tough as they tear you down and strip your armor off? You can free your mind and say what you want, 'cause everyone's scared of a girl who knows she's enough. So just breathe, take off what you want. In your reflection you see what you've already got. You don't need nothing but you. No lace or red bottom shoes. You don't need mirrors when it comes to seeing truth. It's all natural lighting, just sunlight in the morning. It's sexy when you know you need nothing but you.
Thank you, Marna, for that uplifting performance. Our final award for the evening is Performing Arts. Presenting this award is Karina Ho, a singer-songwriter and dancer with the Axis Dance Company. She also directed Dance NYC's short film, We Sleep No More, for which she wrote the music and choreographed the dance under the moniker Onico. But you may remember Karina from last year's gala when she gave us a sneak preview of her song, Can't You See?, which addresses disability stigma. The video is now available on YouTube, and we can't wait to see what she does next. Over to you, Karina.
2022 marked an important first for our community in the performing arts when Troy Kotsur became the first male deaf actor to win an Oscar for Coda. While this was a historic and great achievement, we know that actors with disabilities are woefully underrepresented in the performing arts. In fact, according to a 2018 study by the Ruderman Family Foundation, only 22% of all characters with disabilities on television were portrayed by someone possessing that disability. The good news is that our stories are valued and that they're even popular at times in the mainstream. However, these stories need to be told by our community. After all, It's our community who has lived these stories. The rampant exclusion of people with disabilities in Hollywood and beyond keeps us from progressing and from inspiring young people with disabilities to go into this rewarding and meaningful industry. Just as we have seen with other communities and their movements, representation on screen matters. It showcases our diversity. It helps erase stigma. It breaks down stereotypes and provides an authentic look into our lives as people with disabilities. After all, people can't know what they don't know. We must show them. We are not trapped in institutions or villains. We are a complex and active community that deserves to be represented on screen and in the arts. To achieve this representation, it will take more than resources. It will take tearing down vast and time-worn tropes in cinema and television. It will also require courage to take risks in authentic casting and portrayals of our community, and the courage to partner with all leaders in the performing arts industry so that we can flip the script on disability together. Tonight, we celebrate the enormous talent of actors, singers, directors, and more in our community who produce excellent work. This work and their talents are simply not seen enough. These nominees are ensuring that we end stigma so that all performers with disabilities can be celebrated for their work and authentic platforms they bring to the table. The nominees are Dominick Evans. Dominick is an aspiring filmmaker, founder of media monitoring organization #FilmDis, and passionate disability rights and LGBT activist based in Metro Detroit. Kelsey Peterson. Kelsey is a dancer, choreographer, and the filmmaker behind Move Me, which is picking up accolades in film festivals around the country. Reagan Linton. Reagan is an accomplished thespian, writer, and advocate who has taken her gifts from the stage to the silver screen with her film Imperfect. Imperfect has been screened at festivals throughout the world. And the award goes to
Dominick Evans, winner of the Performing Arts Strong Wheeled Together Award. Congratulations.
Wow, what a huge honor, and I just want to thank the person that nominated me for the Strong Wheeled Together Award, as well as all of you who voted for me, shared my video, and supported my work to ensure that I would win. I could not have won this award without all of you. We are going to use the award towards our FilmDis study into disability representation on television. Speaking of my work, I have to thank my life and creative partner, Ashton Law. Ashton is talented, beautiful, wonderful, amazing, and one of the best writers I've ever met. I couldn't do this work without her. We've been in this game for 20 years together, and she barely gets any recognition for it. I love you, Ash. Thank you for being my ride or die. I also want to give a shout out to United Spinal for this opportunity, as well as all of their employees who work to make the world more accessible for wheelchair users like me. Finally, a shout out to my family, Robert, Sylvia, Jean, Mikey, Maria, Kyan, Zach, and Marissa. Thanks for being in my corner. And to Beth and everybody at the Global Alliance for Disability and Media who sponsor our study into disability representation. 26 years ago, I started using a wheelchair full-time because I have spinal muscular atrophy. I've always been treated like that was a deficit, but my wheelchair has given me independence, and it's made me a stronger, better person. My work is all about intersectional inclusion of disabled people in the media. I will continue to fight for all disabled people, regardless of who they are. We all deserve to be seen, and we all deserve to be treated like we're human beings. My work is also about uplifting marginalized disabled voices, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep bringing people along with me on this journey. I believe representation is part of the key to better treatment of disabled people, and I'm not going to stop until we see full inclusion in Hollywood, on Broadway, and in all forms of media. Thank you, and I am back.
Congratulations, Dominick, Anna, Erik, Yesenia, and Anthony. And now back to our president and CEO, Vincenzo Piscopo.
Wow, what a wonderful night. I can't believe it's so close to the end. I want to congratulate tonight's awardees and everyone who was nominated. I'm so proud and energized by each of you and by all the talent in our community. And especially congratulations to all of our Strong Will Together award recipients. In closing tonight, I'd like to share a few takeaways. First, as I said in my opening remarks, one of the biggest issues that our community faces is the stigma surrounding disability and the ableist low expectation that comes with it. We fight stigma by showing up, and together we win. When we show up to participate in government, entertainment, music, sports, the arts, technology, or any activity for that matter, we win. Every time one of us rolls out to represent our community, we all become stronger, and we strengthen our community by supporting each other. I am truly honored to be CEO of United Spinal Association, as our work transforms the lives of our members and all people with disabilities. There is so much left to do. We don't have all the answers, but we are committed to finding them together with you. My commitment on behalf of United Spinal is that we will listen, we will learn, and then we will act. Our life-changing programs in employment, peer support, technology, disaster relief, and beyond are designed to strengthen us all for the fights ahead. If you haven't already, please join United Spinal. Again, thank you, and I hope you have a great evening with family and friends ahead. Hilary, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Vincenzo. And thank you all for attending our Member Awards Gala. Congratulations to our awardees, and a heartfelt thanks to our judges, volunteers, and staff, as well as all our sponsors. And finally, thanks to our members and community. All of this is for you. If you are not yet a United Spinal member, you can go to unitedspinal.org and join today. I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to acknowledge that tomorrow is Veterans Day. We appreciate everything our veterans do to protect our nation and our freedoms. There's still so much on the road to equality and justice. Join us as we continue rolling forward. And to finish up our night, let's hear it one more time from Marna Michele. Thank you, and have a good night.
I don't need your handouts. You keep talking too loud, you never hear me out. Petty when you speak now. Turn your stupid sympathy down. I give and you take it.